Monday Night Raw, February 18th, 2013. I should tell you that my wife actually watched Raw with me tonight, so I'm going to mention every time Linda said something. For somebody who watches wrestling because I watch it, she hasn't sat and watched an episode in a while, so this is kind of like a newbie watching for the first time. So WWE, pay attention if you're trying to get some new fans, instead of pissing off your old ones and pandering with toys that wrestle themselves to the kids. I'll get to that in a second. The Raw voiceover, pretty much ridiculous as usual. I'm actually going to redo it on the show this week. It should be funny. Well, there we go. John Cena and Rock look like they're headed right to WrestleMania again. But by the end of the episode of Raw tonight, you'll know that it's probably not as cut and dry, which is good, because I don't want to see another Cena-Rock match, not without the addition of CM Punk or some other wrestler. Grow up, John Cena. I mean, you know, I even wear the hat. You should just take your hat like this and wear it backwards. You know, small baby steps. You don't need to be a whole new different wrestler. You don't need to be a bad guy. Just grow up a little bit. Come up with something different that sets you apart, and I'll respect you more. They talk about The Rock and Cena, and the crowd goes, meh. It's because nobody wants to see it again. No matter what the kids are cheering, nobody wants to see that match again. Cena and Punk in the ring, by far, had way better chemistry just to sit there and see them face-to-face, go back and forth with the microphone. That never happened with Punk and Rock, and I think that's what we're missing. I know why Rock wants to wrestle Cena. It's because Punk is different, and there's just something stopping their chemistry. Their two styles don't blend together. But for somebody who has something stupid like the People's Elbow, which in a real-life fight would never kill anybody, same thing with Cena's five-knuckle shuffle. They're very similar wrestlers, and their styles complement each other, whereas Punk's going to wrestle somebody like a Daniel Bryan, a Chris Jericho, a Dean Ambrose for the rest of his life in order to get respect and to truly see the real CM Punk in the ring. So there's a celebration tonight for The Rock because he's won the championship. Oh, wait, no, we already saw that a couple weeks ago. He's going to have another celebration because he won a match. What, we have to have a celebration every single time The Rock comes and graces us with his presence on TV? Screw that. You should be wrestling on Monday night, not sitting around and having celebrations, although I do like the surprise, which we'll cover in a second. They showed the presidential promos all throughout the show just to eat up some more time, but the Thomas Jefferson was the first one. That thing must have been on the screen for like 30 seconds. Shut up, Ryback. It's so hysterical when Jericho got in the middle of Sheamus and Ryback. There's a six-man match between the Shield, Ryback, Sheamus, and Jericho gets between these two guys and just starts smacking them around, but like in a good sense so he can jump in on this tag team. I love Jericho. He needs to be there more. I know he doesn't want to be. He's on his way to Australia to tour with his band, come back for WrestleMania, and then go on another tour right afterwards. So, you know, a little Jericho is better than no Jericho at all. Jericho being a secret member of the Shield, that would be cool. But like I said, Jericho's not in for the long haul. I hope they get one of the veterans. Even a Cena would turn his back on his fans and join the Shield. Would be something new, even though it is an old idea. But it still would be cool to see it with a bona fide professional babyface. Sin Cara versus Mark Henry. ¿Cómo se dice jabber en español? Mark Henry. That's what I do. That's what I do. Do you look both ways before you cross the street?
That's what I do.
Do you kick puppies out of your way?
That's what I do.
Do you go to McDonald's and look at the menu and go, yes?
That's what I do.
Do you cut yourself? Would you bleed Hershey syrup?
That's what I do.
And are you going to waste our time with a match against the Great Khali at WrestleMania?
That's what I do.
That's what he do. Cesaro and Miz, a match after a title match Sunday. Monday's night was not for the title, and they're trying to give Miz some credibility, but he's like a freshman wrestler fighting with a varsity wrestler in the simplest terms. He's just does not have the ring acumen or skill that Antonio Cesaro does. And him losing to The Miz with a bullshit figure four leg lock, which even looks queer because he puts it on the left way. I don't know. Clearly Miz is going to head to WrestleMania to fight Cesaro, and will probably finally win the title there. Poor Cesaro. They named the six-man tag officially with no Cena. Joy. Linda saw a Fandango commercial for the first time, and it was a total SMH moment. She just doesn't get it. And for somebody who's never seen it before, she thought it was just a stupid commercial for something else, and had no idea that Fandango is an actual wrestler. Of course, I haven't seen him wrestle yet either, so who knows if he is or not. The We the People thing with Zeb Coulter, I said it on the show a couple weeks ago. Last week I had a whole editorial about it. It just seems like a terrible idea, just waiting to happen. There's just going to be trouble. You've got people in the audience that are going to side, believe it or not, that don't live on the West Coast or in the southern part of the United States, that are not pro-Hispanic or pro-immigrant, that are going to fight with the rest of the country where the WWE doesn't even know who their audience is. I mean, this is just going to cause more problems, not the good kind of controversy. This isn't like the Iron Sheik saying America, or Nikolai Volkov singing the national anthem, or Mr. Fuji back in the day, or Muhammad Hassan most recently, where it was one man versus the whole country as a whole. This routine between Swagger and Zeb Coulter is splitting the audience on purpose. And there are going to be people who take a side. You're taking this Tea Party character, it's going to be a mess. When the fights start breaking out in the arena and it's not in the ring, it's between your fans that are taking sides over this, that believe this guy. It happens in real life. Why wouldn't it happen in wrestling? It's ridiculous, dangerous, and stupid. And I don't know what to say. Swagger, I figured you would have worked on the speech impediment while you were off for 6 months, or 6 months, however the hell you do it. Damn, dude. And they gave him 2 segments, too. They did the YouTube video. They has a whole page now of his idiotic ramblings, ignorant ramblings, and now you get to see him on WWE in the ring do a State of the Union. I'm telling you, this is going to be a big mess just to add heat on a match, which you could actually have created some heat by having good stories and good wrestling matches, which lead to this, instead of just tacking this on and making it something more than it's Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger, which nobody wants to see anyway. My wife was digging the commercial with the lobster on the salad and the lobster roll, and then they mentioned it's from Quiznos. Who the hell is going to eat lobster from Quiznos? I'd rather eat shrimp from Walmart or Chick-fil-A. I don't know. It's just gross. More presidential quotes. Daniel Bryan's beard is epic. I need one. I need one of these things. I know he hates it. I know I've had a longer beard than this, and I hated it, so hey, kudos to him for keeping it there. It is epic. They had Randy Orton just call Kane Barney. And quite honestly, my sentiments exactly. He's really becoming softer in his later years here in the WWE. I know he probably won't have another title run, and everybody loves Kane now, but definitely not the big red monster anymore. Paul Heyman says he doesn't like overdramatic women. Wouldn't it be just easier if he said he didn't like women? I mean, isn't overdramatic women being kind of superfluous? Isn't it extra anyway? It's like saying I don't like female women, or I don't like women with boobs. I don't like overdramatic women. My wife's going to kill me for that. Dolph Ziggler versus ADR. Potentially, this could be a match. You know, he's got the Money in the Bank briefcase. See what happens. Again, the match was just too short. They went to commercial break. Something good could have happened out of it. At least Ziggler tried to make a move with the Money in the Bank briefcase at the end after Big E came in and landed that ridiculous move on ADR, which makes no sense to me because the way ADR sold it, he landed on his hands, and is it what, his shoulders is going into your chest or something? Like, I'm thinking like you might want to smash the guy's head on the ground. ADR didn't sell it. It's a shitty move, and Big E, you need to start wrestling if you want to earn my respect. Speaking of the pay-per-view on Sunday, Rock honestly didn't look very electrifying, and I know CM Punk style is kind of like a pound and grind method where he'll put you in submission holds and chin locks and headlocks and arm bars and get you down until you finally, too weak for the big moves. When Rock finally woke up and popped up, he finally woke up the crowd. But otherwise, he just doesn't have it anymore, and I don't blame him. I understand he's been out of the ring for 10 years, but if you were wrestling every, 3-4 times a week, it would get back better. It would get to a point instead of you coming back, have a celebration, and quite honestly, I'll be surprised to even see The Rock next week on Raw. Lots of movie promos. Okay, so you produced The Call, which has not yet been rated. Probably get away with the PG-13. But Dead Man Down is most definitely a rated R movie. Sure, Wade Barrett may have a non-speaking role in the movie itself, and maybe because WWE came in and helped finance it, this is why he got his part. But you're showing these promos on your wrestling show for rated R movies, yet you're a TV PG show. So who are you trying to get to? I mean, it's great. You can promo the hell out of a rated R movie during a TV PG show, but you can't have TV 14 type entertainment even after 10 o'clock at night. Again, I throw my hands in the air because this is just, there's no consistency. And that's my problem with the WWE. There's no consistency. Eventually, later on in the show, you're going to see an ad for the WWE Reading Challenge to win tickets to WrestleMania for you and your school. Yet you're showing rated R promos like an hour before. So why not take those and switch them, put the reading promo at the beginning where the kids watch, put a big TV 14 stamp all over the place, make announcements about it for weeks before you get into the show, and let the adults watch some wrestling like it used to be. Now they're showing the Power Slammers toys for kids, which you wind up and you just sit and you watch them bounce all over the place. It's like watching a Mexican jumping bean. It's like watching a Chia Pet. That's as much joy as you can get out of that toy as anything. What's wrong with actually just taking the figures and having them, create your own moves and move your little wrestlers around and have them do things that you want instead of having them wrestle themselves? It's ridiculous. They're toys for stupid kids, I guess. No imagination. I hope you sell 12 of them. Tensai, ready for his huge turn in character, and he gets a Kango. He gets a hat. That's it. And then even Lawler made a joke about what's he going on safari? It looks like a pit helmet. Poor Tensai. Naomi didn't look half bad in the ring. Maybe this is one way for them to beef up the Divas division. She's kind of all over the place. She has some potential, but the division itself has none, and no inspiration either. I wrote something here, and I have no idea what it means. It's about the mixed tag match. Who gives a shit? There's the second Swagger segment, and they're pushing the hate some more. Go to his YouTube page and be a total idiot as well. And really, you can't find one real American there that wants to work hard and doesn't mind. I mean, we're all immigrants in some sense or another, unless you're Native American. And there you go. Get Tatanka back and make him the real American. But it's just more hateful stuff. And like I said, you're not dividing good guys and bad guys. You're dividing the audience, which I know this country is divided, but you're dividing it more, and it has disaster written all over it. Mark my words. Their routine is ugly and stupid. I like the loyal order of goat faces. It's like the loyal order of the raccoons or the water buffaloes. Now you have the goat faces. Good for you, kids. Great science. Again, no continuity whatsoever in tonight's Raw. You've got an announcement that New Orleans, the Superdome, is going to host WrestleMania 30. Let's hope they don't lose the power. I'm sure they'll try to work something in as a joke about that. But you've got Vince McMahon walking across stage 2 weeks after hip surgery to address the audience at the press conference. And then later on in the show, he's sitting there on video yelling at Heyman about who's he going to wrestle next week. And again, the crowd goes, meh. And he's got crutches. Where's the continuity? So earlier in the day, you had no crutches, and now you're actually sitting down on a video via satellite segment, and you have crutches. Who's in charge over there? Who's watching the show and making sure that this stuff doesn't happen? Vince looked a little out of it. My wife even Linda mentioned that he looked like he was on Percocets or drunk or stoned or something, but he looked a little lost in the eyes, and his rap wasn't nearly as clean as it normally is. Vicky makes Brad Maddox the assistant to the managing supervisor, and nobody cares. Zero crowd reaction, especially when they mention that McMahon and Heyman are going to wrestle next week. The only thing that I can believe that will actually pick this up would be an appearance of Brock or Triple H or both to lead towards WrestleMania. I think that's the only way to save that segment, because right now they had to notice there was zero crowd reaction. They won't notice the rated R promos before the kids promo and the toy commercial, but hopefully they will notice this. I doubt it. WWE, you're so much a soap opera now. Just stop the wrestling, honestly. Like, work your stories out the way that cop dramas do or soap operas do, where somebody gets shot or somebody, gets... It's all fictional anyway. No, I'm not saying go shoot a wrestler, but you're not even showing the wrestling matches. Even when you do have a long match, you cut to commercial. And it's not about the wrestling anymore. It's more about your entertainment, and it's not entertaining to me at all. Sheamus and Ryback were actually pushing off on each other before Jericho came in and slapped the shit out of both of them. It's a really funny segment. Probably the best segment on the show. I think that would actually be a really good match. They're both Vince's creations. Both of them have a limited skill set. I do like Sheamus. I don't want to bag on the guy too much. He does what he has to do. But man, Ryback's got his lines. Wake up. finish it, feed me more, find his spots, and still can't. I'm surprised the crowd still cheers for him because he's really good in 2-minute doses, and that's about it. The Shield makes everything better. Remember that. Not only are Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns wrestling the big stars in the company, they're actually keeping up with them and doing a damn good job. I mean, Ambrose versus Y2J, I could have watched an hour-long match right there. Ambrose just sells in the ring. Rollins, I'm still waiting for him to blow up. He has such ridiculous high-flying moves, which actually won the match tonight. And Roman Reigns is definitely coming along very nicely. He held his own against Sheamus. I'd love to see a single match between those two. And especially, I like those Shield matches because we only see Ryback for like 30 seconds at a time. They're like in-laws. Rollins flies. Ryberg sucks. Did you know that Kofi is African for punching bag? It's true. Kofi versus Sandow. R-Truth comes out when Sandow gets a little too rough with his buddy. I'm afraid it looks like Kofi and R-Truth are back to the tag team hunt again. After all this time trying to, I guess they were trying to build a singles career. It looks like the two of them are stuck in tag team purgatory. Kane and Randy Orton finally wrestle after the whole Barney comment in the back, and of course RKO to Kane. Randy Orton wins. You know, I don't know what they're doing with Randy. I really thought he was going to win the Chamber, him or Jericho, and I understand they give it to Swagger. But, you know, they love Randy Orton. They cheer for him. They buy his T-shirts. They want Orton to win. And you need to start putting him up. Put a strap on him. Do something. He's got to be better than Barrett. Barrett's losing matches with his stupid Intercontinental title. He's talking about movies, not even wrestling. Give the belt to Orton at least. It'll give it a little more credibility. Orton needs to hit the reset button and come up with something, or just be a badass psychotic like he used to be, because that's what people want. Finally, after we talked about it, Ultimate Tout, a few weeks ago, and we made cracks about it, I even made a meme where The Rock is holding a belt up like that. I'm like, seriously, you want me to wear this? They changed the belt, and it does look a little badass. It's definitely more of a throwback design. It looks more mighty and powerful, and it doesn't have the ridiculous spinning bling on it. So good for them. They finally listened. Hopefully they listened to us, and they should continue listening to us if you want to make your product better. WWE, talking to you. Looks like Rock, right at the end, was ready to start stumping for Cena when all of a sudden Punk comes out with the old belt and whacks Cena in the back of the head and lays Cena down, throws his belt on the ground, and Punk goes, I want that belt, and he wants the new belt from Rock. It looks like maybe this once-in-a-lifetime between Rock and Cena is going to stay that way, and we may have a three-way battle, triple threat match for that huge title, which I'm sure still in the predictable fashion, even if they do change it, Cena will still probably win at WrestleMania, but at least it's not the match. And hey, who knows? Maybe Punk will win, and I'll be able to go to sleep a happy man after spending $75 on a pay-per-view. Overall, my review, you know, not too high, maybe like a C-. Definitely average. I could say some of the events brought it up, but I strive for more out of the WWE. So this episode, this week, I'm definitely giving low C, not a D, not a total tank, just average. Couple good surprises. All right, I'll give it a straight C, but I need to see some more. That's the Reck'd Raw review for February 19th now, 2013. Check out Tout Bouts on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Tout, and we will see you next week. Peace.